Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hope all is well. Today's conversation is going to be dealing with negative comments on dreadlocks. I'm going to put some things out there that I did not put out there on my last video. As you guys know, I do a lot of videos here about talk, and that's what this is going to be about. But real quick, I want to just ask you, have you ever been in a situation where somebody asked you something that was so crazy that you just felt like it was very disrespectful? It was out of order. It was out of line. It was like something that should have not been said, and they should have thought before they spoke. That's the type of time I'm on. Like I be getting a lot of people approaching me, whether it's in person or via social media, even here on YouTube, and they have the craziest, weirdest, creepiest approach, and they be saying things that don't make no sense. So I want to share my screen real quick because I want y'all to feel what I'm saying. Because dreadlocks are beautiful. Locks are beautiful in general, and to each his own. What works for me may not work for you, and we all, are confident in our skin with however we choose to move. So here's a quick little video of showing you how beautiful dreads are.
Very short, Mark. Have a good evening.
You
sis.
too.
Thank you, Mama. You know.
You see the beauty in that. Locks are extremely beautiful. I want to share my screen right now. Some of you guys may not understand where I'm coming from. You may not feel me. Fair use, fair use, fair use. I want to really show you guys what I'm talking about because other dreadhead people go through it. Other lock people go through it as well. And here's a great video that shows that specifically. So fair use, fair use, fair use.
This is Lada the Dads from the Dads That YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about the stigma or the, how do I say, thoughts associated, negative thoughts associated with dreadlocks. Basically, I can tell you that the first negative thought of dreadlocks is hygiene. I can tell you a million people say to me, how your locks don't smell bad? Because they think that most people with dreads, their locks smell bad. They think that most people with locks is a hygiene thing, which I don't understand still, because most people with locks actually very concerned with hygiene and actually wash their hair a lot, trying to make sure that it smells very nice, very fresh, and is all natural stuff they use, these things that smell so nice, them rosemary and all these things. So we can see that they're very concerned with hygiene. So it's a misconception that people with dreadlocks are not concerned with hygiene. So that's number one. Number two is law enforcement. Now, law enforcement does not like dreadlocks. I would say it's the number one hairstyle they do not like. They don't like it. I can tell you, you're going to get checked more with dreadlocks. They're going to want to speak to you more with dreadlocks. Your interview is going to be longer. Going to the airport, you're going to be checked more. You're going to be the one that's pulled out of the line because the dreadlocks is a hairstyle that law enforcement does not like. And number three, most people that see your dreadlocks, they automatically assume that you're either lazy, an unemployed person, and you don't have any ambition. So it's not. I don't know what it is, but most people with dreadlocks actually are entrepreneurs that have their own business, but people don't think of it that way. People are thinking of it as that you're a bum, all you do is smoke weed every day, and you're not interested in anything. So that's just three of the stigmas that are attached to dreadlocks that I'd like to share with you. Other than that, you don't know, I've been going through it more than 10 years with dreadlocks, not quitting. It's a lifestyle to us. So big up yourself, all the dreadheads, everybody with locks, all the rastas, big up yourself. This is Lord High the Dads from the Dads Life YouTube channel. And you don't know, dreadlocks is a brotherhood. You understand? Everybody, all the sistrins them took. I don't know brotherhood involved the sistrins them too, but everybody is a culture. So every time I see my sistrins them with dreadlocks, we big them up, it's beautiful. And we're brethren them with unique locks, we big them up. Bless up yourself, you, that tough, that unique. We
Okay, guys, so there you heard it from another Dread King himself. No, I do not know him. Fair use, fair use, fair use. But there are actually people out there talking about the same thing I'm talking about. Good morning, Mr. Jose. How are you? Thank you for popping in. There are many people that go through the discrimination, the racist, the stereotypes, the negative, disrespectful, unpleasant comments when they meet a dreadhead person or a lock person. Is very disrespectful. So at this point in the game, I'm gonna actually tell you guys some of the the things I've been hearing directly. However, I get the comments. So this is one of the first things. It really kind of ticks me off, but I get it a lot. And people think it's a funny comment. People think it's comical, or maybe it's an icebreaker, but I don't think that at all. People have actually come up to me and said, it's time for a retwist. People that I don't know. It's time for a retwist. Like, yo, at the end of the day, I think people should learn to think before they speak. And I think people should learn how to, not say something. It's not always as a response necessary, not always as a reply necessary, not always do you have to react. You keep things in your mind, in your heart, and on your chest. But I find that very disrespectful sometimes when people see you and say, oh, it's time for a retwist, as if they're a loctician, as if they're offering to do your hair, as if they can give you some advice that you don't have. Time for a retwist, really? Like, say less. But those are things people say. And just like that man on the video, people think you're lazy. They think you don't have any ambition. They think, you like to smoke weed all day. They think the craziest things. It's like you're not even a human person. But as my friend Jose says, some people just don't have common sense. So another thing I get, which is crazy and wild, rude, people say, oh, you got a lot of growth going on. I feel like body language, eye language, chemistry can have you filter out between the two when someone is complimenting you and saying something pleasant and positive for you versus when someone is trying to attack and target and make notice that something looks, off to them or displeasant or unpleasant. It's two different things. It's always about how you say something. Not always about what you say it, but how you say it. And the way people say things sometimes, it really sounds like people don't even have time to think before they speak or think about their thoughts before they flourish in them into the atmosphere and the universe. The next thing I see often when I get from people is when you getting your hair done. When are you getting your hair done? Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I didn't know there was so many people in the world that wanted to be a stylist for free or, do people here just for the hell of it. When you getting your hair done, that's rude. That's disrespectful. Like, why would you ask anybody when are they getting their hair done? Like, that's really negative. That's really you saying that their hair doesn't look good and they need to get it done because it's unpleasant to sight. Unless you're in a conversation that, fits that argument. The next thing people have said to me, questions, weird questions, disrespectful, I feel rude, negative, out of order. Do you wash your hair? And I feel like that's such a crazy question. Like, what do you mean? Do I wash my hair? Does a dog not lick his own coat? Of course I wash my hair. All people wash their hair. All animals wash their body. Like, this is just really crazy. Like, the questions I get are really, really crazy. And if you made it this far in the video, I'm going to give you my reactions to some of these comments I get towards the end. So the next thing I get from people, which is really one that takes me back, is this supposed to look like that? What do you mean? What does that mean? What are you saying? Have some people never heard the thing from their family members or mothers or grandmothers? If you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. I don't know if I don't think that's just a black, brown, or Latino thing. Maybe it is, but sometimes if you have nothing positive to say, the best thing you can say is nothing because silence is golden. It really, really is. The next thing people have asked me, with in passing or in real life is, what have you done to your hair? As if they can't even identify or understand what the style is, in a screwed up, prude kind of way. Like they've never seen it, they don't know what to call it, they don't know how to address it. So it's just, what have you done? What did you do? And again, body language, chemistry, eye language, environment, that all plays a big tale in a big picture in how people say things. If someone is hard and cold and angry eyes down and folded arms, or tense face, it may not seem like a compliment. It may seem like, ew, ooh, you don't like that. And you have the right to not like that. You have the right to not like anything you want, even if it's on people that you associate with, you love. You don't have to like anything, but please, people, just really think before you speak. Or, like I said, if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all. It costs you nothing. You're not doing anything. You really. So the next thing I get a lot, which is like really crazy, is that your hair. Um, you know, I can't call this crazy because women and men wear now weaves and pieces, and people are doing the most to keep their hair, despite people knowing they may be losing their hair. A lot of people in general, it doesn't matter of age, racial, culture, but a lot of people in general are really strongly tied to their hair. So for some people, hair is strands, spirituality is prettiness or ugliness, or it's so many things. But who cares? Why are people asking other people if it's their hair? Like, who cares who has their own hair or fake hair? Most people in the world have had extensions at some point, or some type of modification or adjustment to their hair, whether it's the hair on their body in general or the hair on the top of their head on their neck. Like, most people have been through some kind of transitional journey where they've had, fake hair, real fake hair, which is human hair, or whatever. So, what's the point? The next thing I get from some people, which really bothers me down to the core, is, why did you do that? People have legit directly asked me, why did I do that? But again, all about how you say things. The way they asked me, why did you do that, was almost as if they were disappointed, was almost as if they were disgusted, was almost as if they was like, oh no, that don't look good for you. That's not for you. Wild, right? Like, I don't know if you guys can really believe me on the things I'm saying, but real talk, these things have happened on several occasions over my entire lock journey. And the last thing I'm gonna talk about, that people have asked me, which is, I feel like, disrespectful and crazy as well, because I feel like, again, like everything else I mentioned just now, it has nothing to do with nothing, and I don't understand why people ask. People ask me, "Oh, are you Jamaican?" No, I'm not freaking Jamaican. Why does it matter if I am or if I am not Jamaican? Why do I have to be related or associated with Jamaican? Like, Jamaican people allegedly are not even the initial ancestors of the dreadlock community. Allegedly, dreadlocks were around way before the Jamaican culture were rocking them for whatever reasons. So, like, why do people feel like they have to connect or interlap or associate or identify dreadlocks with Jamaicans? Jamaicans don't own the dreadlock culture. Jamaicans are not exclusively created before any other culture. Like, it's not just a Jamaican thing. Like, it's a lot of stereotypical comments going on nowadays. And I think it's just really crazy that, again, people don't think before they speak, and they just say wild, crazy things, not realizing how it's coming out, almost as if they didn't think about it before they said it, or that they don't even care. And they don't, they're oblivious with it. It's just really wild to me. But those are the crazy negative comments on dreadlocks I've gotten directly. Now I'm going to give you some of the responses or reactions I've had when I've been approached with these various comments I just mentioned to you. So the first reaction I have when somebody approaches me with any of those comments is, I love to give people this dead stare that says resting bitch face, and I just stare at them and look at them to the point where it's an uncomfortable, awkward weirdness. Like, are you done? On some, not hee 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 hee, but a whole straight cold stone face, like, just judging them up and down the way they just judge me up and down with just a stare and no words alone. I feel like that gets a lot of people on the I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying I don't like it, so I just don't understand. That's none of my business. None of my business. We ain't gonna all like and dislike what everyone all likes and dislike as well. So again, that eye stare does it for me. The next thing I say to people when I get any of those random comments that people come out their face with and they're not thinking before they're speaking is that's you. That's all you. What that got to do with me? Because sometimes you got to really stand your ground and let people know, like, all right, just because you don't like something, I'm not going to be offended by it because you don't like it. If you associate with me or your friend or relative or coworker or whatever the case is, we don't got to agree to disagree all the time. Cool copy. Like, I don't think you need to say what you need to say, but cool. But again, are you done? Like, okay, that one works as well too because they totally instantly feel the tension and the coldness in my vibe and my body. And if you met me, I'm a very cheerful, bubbly, animated, silly person. So people know, like, all right, something's up. The next thing I do, I totally effing freaking ignore people because I feel like you can always kill people with kindness all the time. So when you ignore someone, it gets to them and it irritates them the same way they try to just irritate and get to me. I love to ignore people all the time, as much as possible, TMI, despite my platform here, but in social situations or personal situations where I feel like people are being disrespectful or out of bound or out of order, I love to just ignore people. I'm not saying ignoring is the answer and it's a positive, reaction, but just sharing some of my reactions with you guys because it's really real. And if you know, you know. The next thing I do, sometimes I'll just think and roll my eyes and just keep walking as if I didn't, or just, just try to not act like it even phased me. Because sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes you gotta realize there's a lot of dumb people in the world that say dumb stuff because they don't care to think to have to, properly articulate themselves. So you have to just, ignore some people and just, act like you didn't even hear that or just change the subject on them, depending on who the person is. Because some people just don't have anything good to say. And that's why I made this conversation this morning because there's a lot of negativity out there from misconceptions and misunderstanding and people not doing their research to understand, the different lifestyles and walks of life there are. Just like there's people who are vegetarians, pescatarians, vegans, ovitarian, flexitarians. People do what they want for a reason. But I feel like, the negative comments have been like really just a little bit much sometimes because I feel like I know I'm not the first person that was seen in the world with this kind of hair. I know people back to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, even decades and decades before that and prior to that, other cultures, third world countries, other citizens or civilians from Indians to Hinduism, to even maybe Haitians, even some Caucasian, Asian, other people had dreadlocks. So this is not the first time people in America and United States is seeing this hairstyle. This is not a brand new hairstyle. So I feel like, that's why I feel like it is negative because there's no way no one couldn't have seen the hairstyle before. And for people to ask the negative, dumb questions they ask sometimes and don't even think to articulate themselves before they, pronounce themselves with a question or a comment or a concern, it's just like people are really ignorant and everybody does not have the same level of common sense. So what offends me in this area expertise of my dreadlocks and my experience does not affect or offend the average person who doesn't have a dreadlock friend or a lock friend or seen a video with somebody with dreadlock. It doesn't affect them the same way because they just not on the same tune with you. They're not on the same plane and they just don't see it the way you see it. But that's my story, guys. Peace out to all you guys. Shout out to Common Sense with Jose and the Grown. Shout out to everybody who catch this video in the playback. Shout out to everybody who's catching it live. If you know, you know. This was a really interesting conversation we need to have because it's something I constantly go throughout my entire journey. And I really wanted you guys to know that pretty much you gotta walk in your own right, your own lane, your own speed, because people are gonna just do things that piss you off and say things to try to hurt you because that's just who people are sometimes. You can't change that. All you can do is change how you react to things, how you respond to things. But that's it from me. Despite all that negativity, I'm still sitting pretty purple, loving my dreadlock journey, almost making 4 years this June 1st, 2024. And you guys just know how to weed people off and just pay people no mind and just, realize that, stereotypes are going to be around for a while. Some of them you cannot change. People are going to just do things that make no sense and say things that make no sense. And you can't let that phase you or get to you. But specifically for people that's on their starter lock journey, thinking about getting locks, you already have locks and you're already going through it, please take one of my tips, not all of them, but maybe one of them, and pay them no mind because some people just, I don't know, just dumb. They're just stupid. They just have no positive way to articulate themselves, or they don't even have the time to think about a positive way to articulate themselves or to ask a proper question without thinking of offending someone. The same way we have pronouns now, and we have to address people by their pronouns, and we can't just go up to someone and say Mr. or Miss. That's considered disrespectful. It's the same situation. I identify it the same way. Again, when you see a bald-headed person who wasn't bald before, and all of a sudden they just rocking a bald head for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 years, that's that person's lifestyle. They decided to say, you know what, I'm not playing with you. I'm not trying to work on saving. They're trying to rebuild. They're trying to regrow it, repatch it. I'm rocking a baldy. It's either you like it or you don't. And even if you do it, you don't like it, either you say something, you don't. So if you feel me, you do this experience, you know where I'm coming from, definitely leave a comment here in this video. Definitely share my video. Definitely drop me a comment down in this video and let me know if you've had a different experience or you've had a comment or question that I didn't mention in this video because, we all get different kind of questions. So, there's probably a better one out there that I didn't hear yet that, is just as offensive or negative. But, at the end of the day, all we got to do is just pay these negative comments no mind. Before I wrap up, I'm going to address this last comment. When Bo Derek wears dreadlocks, it is okay. When others do it, it is an issue. See what I mean? See what I mean? It's always, a choice of opinion or, slight, in different favors depending on who the person is, and what their background is and what they do and where they come from. But that's it, and that's all for me, guys. I have put out the fair use there as well as many times I could. I don't want to get striked or banned for that video of that man I played early in my stream. I definitely want to send a big shout out to all of my subscribers. I'm so excited to see that, despite my absence and not being heavily, in the video live streaming and short content, that I'm continuously still getting subscribers here and there. I'm so grateful for that. So I want to say thank you to all those people that just continue to keep subscribing to my channel, despite seeing how I had a dramatic change in my schedule and I have not been as active as I used to. But to honestly be speaking, I wanted my content to make more sense. I wanted it to just not be all over the place. I wanted to have a certain rhythm and a flow, and I feel like I'm finally achieving that right now. And I just want to, do it the right way. Best way said. So thank you guys for pulling up on me. Shout out to all my new subscribers. Shout out to my day one subscribers. I really do appreciate that. It's been a really interesting journey. This conversation was just talking about the negatives I go through in the streets and in this daily life when people come up and ask me these crazy questions and they totally not thinking before they speaking. If you know, hit the cash app, show your girl some love, you know what it is. That's all I loving this lock journey. That's all I got for y'all. Peace out. Again, leave me a comment below if there's something that you got that I didn't talk about that was just as bad or even worse that someone said to you on your lock journey that you just was like, I can't believe them. I should just smack the boop, 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 boop. Like let me know if there's something I missed, that I didn't bring out here. But have a good one, y'all. I'll definitely talk to y'all later. Please like my video, share my video, subscribe. Peace.